feel called to the mission field. And we don't know what that timing looks like, but I will tell you that this house will support them and will support them, not just with our prayers, but with our resources. And we're even going to send them. We're going to be a sending house. And so I'm very proud of them. But he wanted a few minutes to just kind of share some things that God is doing in their life. And so.
Sorry, that's loud. What is love? What does it mean to love someone with all your heart? The world thinks it knows, and many children think they know. Is it a feeling? Is it an emotion? Is it goosebumps on your skin? Is it chills down your spine? What does it truly mean to love? Jesus said that there is no greater love than to lay down one's life for a friend. I remember hearing people say, I would not do such and such with another woman because I love my wife. And as a child, I never understood that. I think, but loving your wife doesn't mean that you don't want to do such and such with someone else too. It just means you love that woman too. But that was a child's standard of what it meant to love. And unfortunately, that is the world's standard of love today. In today's society, boys are exposed to things like pornography at a young age. They are forced by our culture to confront these spirits at an age they should not even be thinking about them. So the world's standard of love is thrust onto a boy, and he grows up thinking it is real. And when he sees real love, true love, he scoffs. He mocks it. But if that boy would turn to the Bible and read the scriptures, he would see real love in action. He would see true love incarnate. He would see things like love is patient, love is kind. It is not jealous. Love does not brag and is not arrogant. It does not act unbecomingly. It does not seek its own. It is not provoked. It does not take into account a wrong suffered. It does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. So Bree and I have been together what will be 4 years in March. Bree and I have dated, and she was my first date and my only girlfriend. That in and of itself was an answered prayer. Ever since I was a child, once I realized I didn't want to marry my mom, my prayer to God and my declaration to everyone was that I wanted to marry the first person I dated. I turned down a lot of girls in high school. But as you can all see, I couldn't turn Bree down. Our journey has been rough, and many bumps would be an understatement, but this 4-year journey has taught me so much. I've had to learn what true love looked like in action. I've had to learn how to put someone else before me. And I'm still working on that, but I've come a long ways from where I've started. When I was young, my mom and dad and others told me that I needed to practice how to treat a lady on my mom and sisters. Lord knows they taught me how to be patient and not be provoked. But I was not prepared for how much that actually worked. I've actually seen myself performing on Bree what I practiced with my mom and sisters. I've learned that true love is putting someone else before yourself. It's knowing what time they're praying in the morning and not calling them because you don't want to interrupt. It's putting their needs over yours. True love is also loving God more than them. It's putting God before yourself, putting her before yourself, and God before them. These are things I've learned in these previous 4 years of Bree and I dating, and now it is time for us to take the next step. King Solomon wrote in Proverbs chapter 18, verse 22, "He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord." And it is clear to me now that he was speaking of Bree. Solomon also wrote in chapter 2, verse 2 of Song of Songs, "Like a lily among thorns, so is my darling among maidens. And Bree, so you are." I've prayed about this moment for a long time. And Bree and I have talked about this moment for a long time. And every time we would talk about it, we would say, one day. And at the end, I would say, well, one day won't be one day. I mean, one day, the one day we're talking about won't be one day. And now we can finally say one day won't be one day, because that day's today. Bree, will you be the woman I serve? Will you be the woman I love? Will you be the woman whose needs I put in front of mine? Will you be mine till death do us part? Will you allow me to lead you down the path that the Lord lays in front of us? Will you be the second half of what God views as one? Bree, before God, before the church, and before our families, I ask you.
Hiding these flowers from her took half the church. A little bit of research.